Qawwalis and the zikrs, like the Sufi practices, have been a very important medium for me to access South Asia. It's been through coming to embracing my spirituality through Islamic Sufism that I have learned about the Sufism in South Asia and its impact on larger society, and it's through the Qawwalis, and I mean everybody knows Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, but that's only the tip of the proverbial iceberg, right? And so it's been through that medium that I've come to actually appreciate and embrace. So my religious dimension is actually very important in terms of discovering my South Asian heritage.
So I grew up in a very So I grew up in Toronto, North York, in a very white neighborhood. So I was the only brown kid other than my siblings growing up. You know, trying to find that South Asian community wasn't really there until later on in life for me. Mm-hmm. And so growing up, when I, would get up in the morning, shower, brush my teeth, pray, that was all very like clockwork. It was all very ritualistic. And when you would get together with family, other than birthdays, for weddings, funerals, when your sister had her period and there was that Samati and all these kind of things that would go on, all these ceremonies and traditions and celebrations were all tied to religion. I didn't see it as this big institution, as anything. It was just a part of the culture. It was a part of building that community. It was a part of, that time you get to like be around your family, work together, collaborate on something, celebrate something, and it was all that and more. And so my South Asian identity, really, because when I went to school, it had to stop because, when I'd bring curry to lunch, I'd get made fun of, so I'd had to pull that back. Religion was tied directly to the essence of whatever culture I had growing up that was South Asian, that was Tamil, that was Sri Lankan. It was tied to religion. It was tied to these traditional ceremonies. It was tied to me getting up in the morning, putting thorn on my forehead, and then walking to school, and then having to wipe that off because I was nervous, right? There was all those layers to it. So religion was tied to it, which is why it's kind of still a part of my life. It is a part of my life still because it's so rooted to,
I guess religion for me is good and bad in terms of formulating my South Asian identity because a large part of my family is Catholic. My mom grew up Catholic, and Catholicism is a big force of colonialism in the Caribbean. So through Catholicism, people weren't allowed to speak their languages, and so a lot of my family has lost the ability to speak Hindi. That's not something that my parents do. That's not something that I do, and that's pretty painful and really shitty. But in terms of my dad's side of the family being Hindu, that's something that he was really born and raised in, even though it's practiced really differently and has been altered also through colonialism and through travel and loss of historical memory. The way that my parents practice Hinduism is really different, and I'm often reminded of that when I go into South Asian spaces. The way that I do things is wrong, and the way that I do things is weird, and the way that our temples are built are different. And yes, I'm constantly reminded of my otherness, even within South Asian community.